House Republicans are moving to escalate their investigation into Jeffrey Epstein, this time by targeting a former president. The Republican-led House Oversight Committee says it will seek to hold former U.S. President Bill Clinton in contempt of Congress after he failed to appear for a scheduled deposition tied to the panel's Epstein probe. Oversight Chair James Comer said Clinton ignored what he called a lawful subpoena, despite months of back and forth with the former president's legal team. Comer accused Clinton's lawyers of repeatedly delaying and ultimately refusing to commit to testimony. The committee had subpoenaed both Bill Clinton and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, scheduling their depositions for this week. House Speaker Mike Johnson warned ahead of time that skipping the appearances could amount to contempt of Congress. In a sharply worded letter to Comer, the Clintons said they would not attend, arguing the subpoenas were legally invalid. They said they were prepared to fight the matter in court and accused Republicans of pushing a rarely used process that could halt Congress and lead to imprisonment. Despite the standoff, Comer stressed that the investigation does not accuse Bill Clinton of any wrongdoing. He said the subpoenas were issued unanimously, with Democrats joining Republicans, because lawmakers have unanswered questions about Clinton's past association with Epstein. Photos released by the committee show Bill Clinton alongside Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell during the early 2000s. Clinton has acknowledged flying on Epstein's plane for foundation-related trips before Epstein faced criminal charges, but he has denied any knowledge of Epstein's crimes and says he cut ties years before Epstein's 2006 arrest. The Justice Department continues to review millions of pages of Epstein-related records for possible release, as political tensions mount over accountability, transparency, and how far Congress is willing to go in its pursuit of answers. With a contempt vote now looming, the clash between House Republicans and the Clintons is set to intensify, adding fresh controversy to an investigation that continues to reverberate across Washington.
Newly released U.S. government files are reopening one of the darkest chapters in recent American history, and this time, the trail leads thousands of miles east. According to documents published by the U.S. Department of Justice, convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein traveled to Russia multiple times in the early 2000s, including at least one trip with former U.S. President Bill Clinton. The revelations come from thousands of records released under the Epstein Files Transparency Act, signed into law by President Donald Trump, forcing the DOJ to publish long-sealed material tied to federal investigations. Flight logs tell part of the story. Court documents linked to a lawsuit filed by Epstein accuser Virginia Giuffre show that Epstein, his longtime associate Ghislaine Maxwell, and an assistant flew to Russia on at least 3 occasions between 1992 and 2003, aboard Epstein's private Boeing 727. One trip stands out. In May 2002, the plane stopped in Novosibirsk, then continued east to Khabarovsk in Russia's Far East. On the passenger manifest, Bill Clinton, his aide Doug Band, and several others. After Khabarovsk, the group reportedly flew on to Shenzhen, China. When Epstein was questioned about that flight years later, he refused to answer. In 2016, during legal proceedings, Epstein invoked the Fifth Amendment, declining to respond to questions about the Khabarovsk trip with Clinton. The former U.S. president has repeatedly stated he had no knowledge of Epstein's criminal activities and says he severed ties with Epstein long before the financier's arrest. But the documents do not stop at travel. The files also reveal financial transfers from Epstein's accounts to Russian banks between 2008 and 2012, more than $10,000 sent to women in Russia. Regulators say those transfers fit a broader, troubling pattern. In 2020, Deutsche Bank was fined $150 million for failing to properly monitor Epstein's transactions, which included payments to Russian models and more than $800,000 in suspicious cash withdrawals. Photographs released by the DOJ show Epstein posing at landmarks in Moscow and St. Petersburg, accompanied by unidentified women. All of this emerges years after Epstein's death in a New York jail in 2019, while awaiting trial on federal sex trafficking charges, a death that continues to fuel public suspicion and political pressure. Lawmakers and advocacy groups say the newly released files are only a partial window into a much larger network, and they are demanding answers about who knew what and when. The documents raise uncomfortable questions. Why was Epstein traveling to Russia so frequently? Who else was involved? And why do so many details remain unresolved decades later? As more files surface, the Epstein case, long buried, long contested, is once again forcing the powerful into the spotlight.